Like my humour, it's dry. So we're over the halfway stage. Let part 2 commence. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to round 7 of our FPRL Season 9 Championship. We are at a very grey and gloomy circuit, Zandvoort in the Netherlands. A track that's threw up quite a few interesting races in the past, and a season last season, a story of multiple drivers. Today, in this campaign, it's a story of one team. So let's see if who will be the undisputed number one. I am Cruiser1872, and joining me in the commentary box once again, you know him by now.
Do they know me by now? You might have to give me another introduction, Cruiser.
No, I'd imagine they would. We've been doing this for nearly 6 months now.
It's been getting on quite a bit now, isn't it? Yes, obviously Monkey Boy Kurt alongside Cruiser again tonight for Tier 3 action in FPRL. As Cruiser said, round 7 of the season, getting ever closer to the end now. Only 4 races left now in this Season 9 campaign for these Tier 3s, but hopefully we're going to see another great quali session tonight with already 4 drivers out on track. Let's get down to the track, let's get down to the action. Who's going to put it on pole tonight, I wonder?
Well, the obvious ones we all know by now. Keep an eye out on Button, keep an eye on the Haas of Brewmaster, a driver who last time out we came to Zandvoort in Tier 3 won our social race. So we'll keep an eye out on them, and more importantly, because Destroyer isn't here yet. Currently MIA, but he's got about 20 minutes to get here, otherwise it will be no points for one of the top 2 in the standings, and they will remain that way until we head to the next event, which will be race number 8. And Wizard of Oz getting a bit lucky there with that invalidation. Obviously around Zandvoort, the final corner, it's so easy to run too wide, and seems like he just about lucked out there in terms of having his main lap invalidated as well. But going through the horseshoe turn 3, now this flowing turn 4, turn 5, and now turn 6. There is a name for these, but I'm not gonna try pronounce them in Dutch because, well, I don't speak Dutch. Anyway, turn 7 and this very tricky turn 8. You get in that curb, you are going nowhere but straight on and meeting the Shadow Realm head on. Now turn 9 and now turn 10. Again, very tricky to get right. You want to pin the throttle, but you've got to wait. It's such a patient corner. And into the stadium sector of turn 11, throwing it to the right and then immediately flicking it to the left. Avoid the gravel trap and get a good run out of turn 12 and turn 13. And then the final 2 corners immediately to the right there for Wizard of Oz, and this banking some 30 degrees of camber for this somewhat roller coaster of a track. And up to the line for the Alpine, it's a 1:10.1, and that is the benchmark for the Dreaders. Major Allen is a 1:12.3, and Sheriff Woody a 1:10.9. Next up will be one of the Red Bulls. That, I'd imagine, is JSY making their debut. They are in their second race back from their little absence in this final sector for the Red Bull. If I'm correct, he was driving a Ferrari last time out. Was JSY? Probably wrong because my memory is shocking. I'm like a goldfish. JSY round the final corner. It's a 1:10.4. Puts him provisionally on the front row of the grid.
Yep, not a bad first lap there from JSY. As you said, come back into the action now, last race, and now we'll be looking for another hopefully good result tonight. Wasn't so good in Italy much. I know you did qualify quite well, but yeah. But Wizard of Oz at the moment with a 10.1. That is a very good time. I think any time within the 109s for Tier 3 tonight should be classed as a very, very comfortable and should be up there for potentially fighting for pole position. But we've obviously still got lots of people to come around on their laps now. And one of them is Button, who is getting towards the end now of his lap. He's on a 48.7 for Sector 2. He'll now swing it into the second to last corner. And then, as we've already seen, round the final banked right-hander towards the line. Like I say, anything in the 9s is respectable. And that is just inside the 9s. It's a 109.991. That puts him to the top of the timing sheets by around 2 tenths. Obviously, still 13 minutes to go and still over half the grid yet to complete their laps. Our championship leader, Remaster, is also now on his flying lap.
Keep an eye out on the Haas as well as G Undisputed. Reese's Pieces, the only winner outside of the Haas team this season. Of course, the Flow Godfather, who was having a good run around Monza, but less said about that the better, especially as well for Major Allen, who I still apologise for welcoming you to a very long list of names I have trust in my tenure. Zafir is on a lap. The only one yet to really have a go yet is Speedy B. Tell a lie. There they are going out of the pit lane now. Certainly hope that isn't not was Devoz, because that would be a bit awkward. Should be Speedy B, because we haven't changed cameras yet. So keep an eye out on Zafir, but we'll scroll down, look at this Haas, and it's third place for Brewmaster, ahead of JSY, and behind Oz and Button for the moment. There is a Mercedes going around, that is, I think, is Major Allen improving to a 111.5. The Flow on a 110.3, seen quite a few of these mid-110s, and Godfather now, and that's Sauber last time out in the Red Bull, didn't work out for them. And around this final corner, we'll give a nice little slipstream here, I think, to the Tattooed Star, or Sheriff Woody, one of the Ferraris at least behind them. Tell a lie, that, no. Oh, it was the Tattooed Star, thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, I think we're going to see potentially a couple of them throughout tonight's quali and race. That is a very, very difficult corner, especially if you take it too quickly, going or turning too sharply to the right. It's not nice to be needs to be a nice smooth motion, but yeah, unfortunately for Tattooed Star, that is his qualifying done. He will be well, he's just going to drop down, but hopefully he'll be able to stay in front of a couple of drivers, not be right at the back of the grid, but we'll have to wait and see about that. The Flow has come through just recently of a 10.3, Zafir of a 10.4, and I'm now getting the go-ahead from Destroyer. Get me the invite over now. So let's get Destroyer into this lobby, because he can definitely challenge for that pole position.
Bit jumpy here with Reese's Pieces, looking to maybe get a slipstream from the Flow. Careful with that, though, you don't want to end up like the Tattoo Star, which touched the grass and was in the dirt here, not the best combo indeed. I will add a sprinkling of cruiser commentary to that Tattoo Star, as Reese's Pieces does a 110.2. So despite all the times that have been set, he's the only driver to set a 110.2, but still only fourth is G Undisputed, actually, a bit unnoticed up on the front row for the moment. And yeah, that's at least the Tattoo Star seeing the funny side of it. Destroyer is on his way. And Major Allen saying, how's comms tonight? I'm doing very well myself, Major, thank you very much. And I'm sure Monkey is doing just as well, as we're going to try and get Destroyer in this lobby. He is now in that Haas, so everyone look out, because there's a Haas that's about to charge and go full pelt up towards the top if he gets this lap together, of course. Speedy B, the only one yet to get a lap on the board of the first runs, and goes 8th place. Pretty much Speedy B right there, just bang on, in the middle, consistent. Very much the tier 3 benchmark, I'd say. Just again, just consistency, and probably the best driver in terms of that this season so far, I'd say.
Yeah, he's definitely up there for consistency. Here comes his teammate on his second run, Wizard of Oz. Can he challenge Button? And he does go a little bit faster, but he doesn't gain any positions. It was 54 thousandths faster to a 110.130. But yeah, like I say, nothing gained. We have got a couple of people now on their second runs. It looks like Remaster did go for a second run, but he's had to back out of this lap. The battery is off and he won't be completing this one. He might go for another one. And other than that, everyone else is either in the pits, on an in lap, or they're on an out lap. So yeah, nothing to report at the moment, but Button has just started his second run as well.
Keep an eye out on that, as we'll actually switch up a little bit. We'll go instead from the fastest lap to the gap to the leader. Half a 10th covering the top 9. Sheriff Woody in his own little private exchange for 10th with Sid, as Iro's Major Allen making his way out the pits, holding up one of the Alpines heading in. I'm sure that'll be a bit rude. Godfather yet to really get a lap time on the board, but I suppose in the end it is just preference of track. As David Lawface found out very much a couple of times in last season's campaign, a podium at Bahrain and a victory, and a very unlikely victory at Baku. as round the sector 2 he goes. Give him a little bit of screen time through the stream, and Silverside Boy splashing the channel point cash this evening. I see a drink redemption for myself and for you, Monkey Boy Kurt, as well, as I think this is getting a little bit picky. I say picky, picking on you. A truth or dare redemption, but a truth this time is aimed your way as Button goes a 197, and his teammate last season, David Lawface, up to the line, and that I make a 111.3 for David. Again, I think he's just getting himself rubbered into the track.
Yeah, that's it. And Destroyer was on his first lap, obviously coming late into the lobby, but he's just gone wide. So he's going to have to get that battery turned off and potentially go again. He's got 7 minutes, so he will have time to go for one more lap and then come into the pits and get on a fresh set. So he needs to try and get as much battery as he can before he takes that final corner. And he's virtually now back up to 100%, and now he turns the hot lap on. But also coming up, we've got, let's have a look down the field. I think, yeah, Button's already gone through, obviously improved further to a 109.7. And then there, we don't really have anyone coming on a lap. David's on his out lap, his in lap, sorry. And then we've got JSY coming up now to sector 2. And he's 80 thousandths up at the moment. That's going to push him up a couple of places, up to P7. Depends what he can now do through the last sector as he comes now through the second to last corner. Oh, he keeps it just inside the white lines, and now the overtake goes on for the run up to the finish line. Can he go any higher than P9? Oh yes he can. He got up to P2 with that, a 109.9 for JSY, and yeah, just behind, just under 2 tenths behind Button. We've then got Destroyer coming now through. We'll also go on board with him and see what he can do, and he's done a 51.4, and that's not going to be anywhere near the times that have been set by the guys at the front. So I think potentially this could be straight in the pits for a Destroyer.
That might be, and judging by that fuel light, that answer is very much yes. As yep, into the pit lane he goes. So not ideal for Destroyer, as it negates the speeding penalties. By the way, Zandvoort is 37 for the pits, by the way, just in case anyone gets a 10-second penalty later in the race. Godfather really struggling so far. David going for another run. He's up by a couple of tenths. See if this is any further improvement for David. 3 tenths. Looking to challenge the Tattoo Star. Maybe put himself in the fringes of the top 10, but we will need a good effort around this final set. We've got 5 minutes to go in our qualifying session. Button's been leading from the off. JSY improves to second. Brewmaster, J Undisputed, I should say. Wizard of Oz in the McLaren duel on 6th and 7th. David on a 110.8, found a lot of time in that final sector. And Sophia actually up in 8th on a 110.4. If that ends there, he'll be very happy with that result. Speedy B and Sid Sandwich now dropped out of the top 10 for Sheriff Woody, who goes 8th. David 12th, Tattoo Star after that earlier crash with the wall. Major Allen, Godfather and Destroyer down in 16th place. Stays that way. He's got a lot of work to do in this race around the track, which historically isn't really great for overtaking. Despite the DRS zones, it's so difficult to overtake around here just for the momentum and the medium high speed corners that you carry around this track. As Wizard of Oz, hello, cast a spell and puts himself up on top.
Yeah, I was tracking that lap. He was 3 tenths up through sector 2, and it definitely looked like it was going to be a strong one. And it's strong enough at the moment for provisional pole. We've still got 4 minutes left of the session, so anything can still happen. We've got J Undisputed now starting his probably going to be final run with 3 minutes 50 to go. I think he probably is going to be, unless he can get the car slowed down and go again. In fact, no, I think he's abandoned this one already. The battery's turned off and he won't go for a fast lap now. We'll try and recharge and go again. Just trying to see if anyone else is coming up to the line. Sheriff Woody's into the box. He's going to try and get back out again if he can. Button coming on his out lap. So the next driver to be coming across is going to be the Flow. Now the Flow's 5 tenths up. He did a 110.3 through his second run. So this will put him up to around an 0.98. So this could potentially knock the Wizard of Oz off pole as he comes to the line. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 0.99, and that's going to put him up to P4, whether or not he'll have enough fuel to go for another run. We'll have to wait and see about that. Some people are coming to the pits to come in potentially for some new tyres. They've still got time to get out, as Destroyer now will start his flying lap. And we've got the Godfather, currently 8 temps up. What can he do for this final sector? Can he get himself higher than P15? And the answer is for now, no he can't. It's a 1:11.9.
Reese's Pieces starting his lap. Brewmaster about to finish his lap, and this might be his final run in the session. He's got a lot more battery though compared to what I've seen before up to the line, and that's going to help him snatch pole away from the Alpine. Brewmaster, like a chariot of fire, he has picked up a lot of momentum these past few races, crucially at the expense of his teammate, who needs to get this lap on the board. He's got one more chance, and this might need to be the one where he has to seize it, as around sector 2, and he's got 2 minutes to go, so he does have enough time if this lap is a bit more scruffy, as 4.5 seconds, so that will actually only put him up to around 12th place shockingly. But I do expect a bit more improvement in this final sector anywhere though, from third place up to Brewmaster, half a tenth in it, between J Undisputed and the flow, 16 thousandths. JSY is not going to improve. Destroyer, 7th. And immediately, no battery. He's got 90 seconds left. He might just have enough in hand, but only if that battery is kind to him and gets enough recharge in, as Reese's Pieces goes right behind his teammate up to 6th. It's an all McLaren 3rd row. But who can challenge Brewmaster? And it looks like this is going to be your man. Button around the final sector. He's got 100%, but that fuel light might actually put a different plan in place here for the RB. Is he going to enter the pits? I think he is. He's not went anything on the battery, and yet Button's done. So now, your next bit, the flow maybe? But that's 5th place. He's got to find a good wee bit in this final sector.
Yeah, well, you've got the flow, but he's on worn tyres. Reese's Pieces could go again. He should have time, but Jay is currently throwing it around Sector 2, trying to get in, and he should have just about enough time to get another run in. But as we now look towards the finish line, so the flow will go again. We'll go to the kick salvo that's coming through. Godfather is 4 temps up. That's still not going to project him higher than Major Allen, who's currently 8 temps in front of him in P15. We'll see where it does put him. And that's going to put him, just behind him. Still P16 it is. So there goes Jay. He's done with his lap. 5 seconds remaining. Who's going to get over the line? Destroyer gets over the line for one more. And that's Major Allen done. So now we're watching all the drivers now come in, starting with David Lolface, who is down. And I don't think he's going to improve on this P13. A 1:10.8 he needs to be, and he won't improve this time around. Here comes now Sheriff Woody. He's down as well. Nothing to do with him. And Speedy B, certainly in P12, he comes into the pits. Zafia in the Aston Martin comes into the pits. Nothing's going to change for him. So we look towards. Oh, there's a smasher! Destroyer!
Huge crash.
Reese's Pieces.
I think Reese's Pieces lost it in the car, but Destroyer had nowhere to go. So now it's. I think that's it.
Oh, he's
Jay's done. Jay's done. That's it.
Yeah. With 2 temps up, and
he's gonna finish the lap at least. No, he's not. He's backed out of it. Oh, Jay. Oh dear. But crucially, though, Destroyer obliterated into Reese's Pieces, and Brewmaster, like the pre-season of before, picks up where he left off and is on pole position, with Wizard of Oz in 2nd, Button in 3rd for his best qualifying in a while, J Undisputed ahead of the 2 McLarens, JSY retired early and is down in 7th, Destroyer in 8th. Regardless, that's a lot of work to do and some very fast cars ahead of him. 6th Sandwich, Sheriff Woody rounds out the top 10, Zafir, Speedy B, David, the Tattoo Star, Major Allen, and Godfather round out tonight's grid for our Tier 3 Dutch Grand Prix. And if you're Brewmaster, the seeds were planted for a title fight in Monza, and if there was to be a pendulum, major swing in favour of the, well, say of the Haas driver, but of the right side of that garage.
Yeah, I'm just seeing in the chat now. Destroyer's in the chat. He was 3 temps up, is what he's saying. That would have put him up to a 109.7. That would have put him in potential range of that pole position, maybe. But as we can see now on the screen, first down to 8th within 4 tenths of a second. So there's definitely going to be another close race in this tier for sure. Down to P12, separated by 8 tenths. And then we've obviously got the other guys that's just outside. David Lowface, Hatted Star, who obviously crashed out, Major Allen and Godfather at the back. But yeah, the championship leader currently on pole position, exactly where he wants to be. And as much as he'll want his teammate to do well, his teammate's down in 8th, he'll want to gain a few points on him to get a bit more of a lead in that championship.
Ultimately, they're all vying for the same goal. Reese's Pieces says he lost it in the curb, he couldn't do anything. It happens around here. That exit of turn 8 is diabolical if you get it wrong. And Destroyer found out the hard way along with you, Reese's Pieces. JSY saying that wasn't great. Still up in 7th. He should be happy with that. Major Allen says he just missed the line. I've done it as well. It's not great. And Silverside Boy still has that truth or dare aimed at you, Mounty Boy Kurt. As we get ready and prepped for tonight's race, I see quickly as well. Godfather subscribing with Twitch Prime in the chat. And thank you very much, Godfather, for the support to the stream. And thank you everyone for tuning in and for watching on this on Monday evenings throughout our time on F1 24. We know it's not the best, but we do appreciate the support and helping us as best as we can. Even 5 minutes of your time or watching 5 streams in a row, we're very grateful for it. For you spending your times on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday watching some incompetence, but some damn good racing as well.
Yep, no, I definitely agree with that. So, yeah, we got obviously a couple of minutes to wait. I guess we could discuss Max Verstappen, 4-time world champion.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was always going to be the case, wasn't it?
The damage was done. You know what this is like? This is like the Braun GP season where Button won. The damage was done at the start. Everyone tried to catch him, but in the end, they were all quicker than each other, but just not over the span of a season, and all Max had to do was just hang in there. But up until Spain, when Red Bull started to dip, he won very much. He won all but one of the races, so it was just too much to catch up for everyone else. But what I do like is that they continually push the narrative that Lando was in a title fight, even when at Vegas it was pretty much done. But it's what you do to get your money's worth. But I suppose in a way it kind of shakes up the last 2 races as well. No one's really fighting for anything but the constructors, I suppose. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, well, it's going to be obviously now it's Ferrari versus McLaren. I think Red Bull have they know that they've kind of conceded now. They ain't going to get, especially with how Perez is doing it, they're not going to get anywhere.
Don't get me started, please. Once I get started, I won't stop.
But
that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say about me and Sergio Perez. It's been a complete U-turn from 2021. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, it has no. But I would look at the points. Yeah, 608 McLaren, 584 Ferrari. So yeah, that's what we're going to be looking at going into the final 2. But if next season can start like it has been for the last sort of 10 races, then we've been for a treat in 2025. But
amen.
Yeah, we'll have to just make sure and hope that that is the case, because there's had 7 different winners this season that have won at least 2 races each. So
yeah, that's the first ever for Formula One. 7 winners and at least 2 Grand Prix between them. No, 2 Grand Prix victories. As I'm very disappointed that there is no Jiddle suspension on the grid that I can pick up. They have that at Suzuka, so keep an eye out for that when we head there. If I'm correct, that is next week. We head off to Suzuka in Japan. So keep an eye out for the jelly suspension on that. And what I will say though is, at least for this calendar that we've had, granted it's not been great for some, but we have seen some variety as well. But in Tier 3, it's been a story of one team.
Away we go then. Oh, The Wizard of Oz, what a cracking start it is. Don't know what's happened to Cruise's mic there, but Wizard of Oz goes right through to fourth. Got absolutely terrible start. Right. Previous mic has just stopped working or whatever. It's I'll let him reconnect. Second button for coming down into lap 2 there. DRS will be enabled. And we've got a yellow flag at the back. That's the Tattooed Star. He's not having a great day today. He's binned it in quali and now down to P16. Cruiser just butt in when you've got your mic back, but Oz takes the fastest lap, obviously lap 1, and he'll now be trying to get a second advantage over Jay Undisputed, and he does already. 1.1 seconds is the gap, and Jay will now start to be having threats from Button behind, and in fact everyone else behind him is going to be in a massive DRS train now, right down from P2 to P14. Everyone is within a second. So this is going to be very interesting, and Jay doesn't want to try and fight Button too much. Obviously, Wizard of Oz will be hoping that's the case. He can try and pull away even further, but he does start on the soft tyre, whereas everyone else, apart from the Godfather at the back, is on the mediums. So he's got the tyre advantage to start with.
Oh dear. Brewmaster colliding with Button there, getting a little bit eager to get past, and it's now cost him out to Reese's Pieces and to Destroyer. The pole man now down in 6th, and it could have been 7th there, but he just about holds off JSY. At least my audio's fixed. That was strange. It just didn't work there for the opening lap for some reason. But well, I suppose I'm back. But no, did you not hear anything I said there throughout lap 1?
No, nothing.
Oh,
well, I did anyway. I don't know if the stream did, but I carried on for the stream in case. But yeah, they might have had 2 voices on the stream. Not sure.
Yeah, thank you for having me back there on that. As we'll jump down a little bit, down towards this fight here between Sid and Sheriff Woody. These two have been getting into a little bit of a rivalry over the past few events, and now around turn 4, that carousel corner, and then this run towards turn 5 and turn 6. A little bit in the curb there for Sheriff Woody, but still up in 9th. He's held his own at the start. We'll look at our positions graphic. There we go. To no one's surprise, the biggest losers, Brewmaster and The Flow, down 5 and 6 places respectively. The biggest winner is, funnily enough, Destroyer up 3 places, everyone else up 1 or 2. Wizard of Oz up a place, Jay Undisputed up 2, and Button maintaining 3rd. But 2 seconds there between that Alpine and the Williams, as we're still going to follow Sheriff Woody in towards sector 3, starting to draw a tiny bit of a gap over Speedy B, who's got The Flow all over them in a fight now for the final point, as around the second to last corner, and now this camber, as I say earlier, 30-degree camber for the slingshot run towards turn 1. Well, I've looked now at The Flow, looking to make amends from that earlier collision at the start. He's looking for it, and it's teleported back the way because of a certain internet connection, which I am going to say is mine. As Godfather makes the place up on Major Allen, up now to 14th place. The Tattoo Star down 2 places, and might be nursing some damage of his own potentially. He started in the hards, and he might just be paying the price getting those tyres warmed up as well.
Yeah, Jay, 2.2 seconds now back behind Wizard of Oz. I was mentioning in the opening laps that obviously Wizard of Oz does have the softer tyres, so he should be quicker in the opening laps, but now we're going to see how long those soft tyres can actually be faster than the mediums. Kind of seeing that lead kind of just level off now at lap 4. It's not really improved too much in the last lap or so. We got up to 2.1 I think a lap and a half ago, and now it's kind of not really gained a lot really, just up to a couple of attempts. So I think definitely with the next couple of laps we're going to see potentially Jay, Button, Reese's Pieces and everyone else behind start to re-catch up the Wizard of Oz. But I was saying they don't want to fight too much, and here comes Button now on Jay, going for the move, for P2. Jay gives him plenty of space, and on this occasion Button can't make the move stick, and for now the positions stay the same. But yeah, just have to mention again, Brewmaster obviously down 5 places, got an absolutely terrible start. I don't know whether it was a wheel spin, but just didn't get away well, and obviously now behind his teammate. But Destroyer will be hoping that he can have a strong race now for the rest of this, obviously getting blocked or having a collision actually in quali with Reese's Pieces potentially has ruined his quali. He reckons he could have been a lot further up there.
Yeah, I'm not looking at Twitch chat for the rest of the stream. You'll know why, because a certain Proscody has joined in, and we know what he's like with Channel Point Redemptions. I shall wait until there's a safety car. There's your ultimatum, Proscody. Still following this fight though for, I say his fight for second place with a little train forming for second place down towards JSY. Sid Sandwich has dropped off, obviously looking behind them to Sheriff Woody, and we'll have a look at that fight now for 8th place. So we'll keep an eye out to Destroyer actually. Look to make this move up on Reese's Pieces. He pulls to the right hand side of the McLaren, goes down the inside of the McLaren, forces Reese's Pieces wide as you get boxed in a little bit by Button. Destroyer looking for the cutback around turn 2 and turn 3, gets the inside line. Reese's Pieces still hangs in there, forces Destroyer wide at the carousel, but will get the better run on the McLaren. They're still side by side throughout most of sector 1. In towards sector 2, Destroyer will have the preferred line, and Reese's Pieces concedes. Destroyer started in 8th, now up to 4th, and next up for him is his old foe from China and from season starts, that being that RB of Button.
Yeah, but that was fantastic racing from the pair there, obviously side by side throughout the first 5 corners. But yeah, no, great racing between Destroyer and Reese's Pieces. He now takes the place, and as you said, now sets his sights on Button. Looking back at that lead gap, now it is 2.3. So yeah, now it is completely levelled off. In fact, it's probably gone back in the favour of Jay by about a tenth. So now we're going to see how well Wizard of Oz can hold on. And I thought Wizard of Oz for a moment was going to come in for an early pit stop. He pulled right to the right hand side, but he's then pulled straight back onto the racing line. And there's a move there for second place. It's Button overtakes Jay. There's a bit of a coming together there with the rear wing of Button getting hit from Jay. Jay drops down to P3, and now Destroyer's got Jay to obviously handle with rather than Button. Look at what that battling does though. It means that Wizard of Oz gains another 4 tenths, back up to 2.6 seconds, and that is exactly what he will want to happen behind. Looking at some other battles going on, looks like Sheriff Woody is kind of broken off this pack for second place. He's 2.8 seconds
here real
down.
quick. Reese's Pieces go on the curb and Brewmaster's through. That's now both the Haas's back ahead of the McLaren. We were on board with the McLaren. Just ran a bit too wide again on that turn 8 curb, and that's the second time tonight he's made that mistake. Suppose second time is a bit more curious and a bit more curiosity, and that's what's killed his chance at staying in 5th place. Now down in 6th, but that battery is healthy, but Brewmasters is considerably healthier, 80%, as now Jay looking to size up a move on Button from the prior lap. In towards turn 1 once more. Button knows he's there. Jay knows he's going to side through up to second place. Gives Button the elbows. But like Destroyer before, they bang wheels out towards turn 3. And that's Button's way of saying, you're not getting me that easily. Not when I'm fighting for second place. And this could very soon erupt into a major tussle involving up to 6 drivers.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fantastic. And once again, I'll say it once again, Wizard of Oz loving what is going on behind him. Another 4 tenths now gained. The gap is up to around 3 seconds. But look at these battles we've got. We've got second down to 7th. We've then got 8th all the way down to 12th as well. Oh, as I say, that's Sophia in 12th position, getting on the curb, a bit like Reese's Pieces for the last couple of laps and going a bit wide. If you see a move there between Speedy B and the Flo trying to make the move, but he can't on this occasion. Would he have a go in towards the chicane? He does have a look, but Speedy B is better on the brakes. But yeah, the battling that's going on at the moment is absolutely fantastic. We'll now go back to this battle for P2. Has Jay got the speed to try and go through? But Destroyer's also going. Here comes Destroyer though, and Destroyer's going to go up into P3.
And away he goes. I think Jay got a bit shaky around the final corner, and that's now just invited Destroyer through. So Jay who was in second, now down in fourth. He's got to get himself back in shape, I say. Get that momentum back that he had at the start. But that is a fantastic cutback around the carousel, looking to dive up the inside of Destroyer, but the momentum with the Haas holds on to third, and again has that buffer over his teammate, because if I'm correct in saying this, as it stands in the championship, Destroyer will snatch the lead back by 1 point with 3 races to go after this. Jeez, oh. Let's say it once, I say it again. Last season we had up to 5 drivers from 5 different teams. Now it's just the one team, and it's the one team saga, and rivalries colliding under the same roof.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an almighty battle, I think, for the rest of this season. Obviously, this race as well, but the 3 to come. We'll look back again. Let's keep an eye once again on that gap for P1. It's 2.6 seconds, and that's because there's been not much battling, but Destroyer, as I say that, he's the man making the moves tonight. Up from P7, he's now gained 6 positions, up from P8 I should say actually, up to P2, and now we can really see what kind of pace he's got. He's now set free, he's got no one to overtake now for another 2.5 seconds until he reaches Wizard of Oz. And yeah, I wonder how long Wizard of Oz could go on those soft tyres. They're now 10 laps old. I mean, I think he'll be hoping to at least, if he can, take him to around about lap 13, lap 14. But as we can clearly see, the gap now 2.2. It is really starting to come down fast.
Brewmaster's gone. Brewmaster's lost it at turn 9. Just following that fight again for 8th place, and that is going to continue till the checkered flag as well. Brewmaster is suffering badly, and that gap that was 1 point in the standings provisionally is now you're looking at around 11 points. So much like Jay getting his head back in his shoulders, Brewmaster has got to take a deep breath and get himself back on track.
Yeah, I just saw a collision there between Speedy B and the Flow. The Flow almost losing the back end, does drop a place to Sophia, now goes down to P12. So not ideal for the McLaren. Obviously, we saw him on pole last week when he was around Monza. And there's a yellow flag out, and that's Major Allen. He's lost it, and it's going to be a safety car.
That's a huge crash. Looks like he just lost the back around the final corner, and that's an early safety car. That is really going to suit Wizard of Oz. And in a tail eye, it's going to probably suit everyone, actually, depending on tyres. All but one, unfortunately, being the Tattooed Star, as at one stage a safety car should let him through, and probably will. But yep, everyone now in the same boat. Get the hard tyres onto the end. I shouldn't have said that, because that is very much out of context. But get the hard tyres on, and that's you to the end. So in a way, there's our pit stops.
Yeah, that's literally the case. We have got one hard runner, actually, I believe, in the field. That is the Tattooed Star at the back, so doesn't really help him. Obviously, he'll probably go to mediums, but he won't be able to get there to the end. As yeah, Kim and Godfather doing a bit of swapping of position there. But here comes Wizard of Oz then into the box. So will everyone else be coming to the box? Will anyone get type of... Oh, Destroyer is one of them. Button's one of them.
I think Button might have been shunted there by Jay. And oh no.
What is going on here? Everyone's getting penalties.
Well, this race took a big turn. So what was that? That's Button got a penalty, Destroyer's got a penalty, and Brewmaster's got a drive-through.
Yeah, massive. Obviously, when the pit icons come off, we'll see exactly what the case is. But that's 3 of the front runners, all going to be with penalties, and the Tattooed Star stays out on those hards, and he will be into P7. But weirdly enough, maybe he's going to take it for long game. Sophia has decided to stay out and will inherit the lead on 11 lap-old mediums. He's going to be a sitting duck come the restart here. So yeah, but let's have another look at that then. So Destroyer, a 10-second penalty, a Button, a 10-second penalty, and Brewmaster with the drive-through. So now it's looking like Wizard of Oz, Jay, and Reese's Pieces.
Insert catastrophe joke here, which is very much what it is. It's been a nightmare for the Haas team, so dominant throughout the campaign, and now both of them I've been hit with a slap in the wrist. Destroyer 10 seconds. Brewmaster a drive-through, which, if I'm correct, is around about 17 seconds around here. But then again, he can get rid of it. Destroyer and Button can't get rid of their 10 seconds quickly. They need to hope for another pit stop or safety cars. Idle's Reese's Pieces taking it a bit deep there around turn 12 in the stadium sectors. The orange wall, if you will, around this Zandvoort circuit. But so far everything is looking green for Zafir. He's elected to stay out, which is a bit of a surprise. And Major Allen saying he hit the bump and lost the front completely and knew it wasn't going to be saved, and he's gutted with that result, as Button is going to take the hit early. And I think Button is just going to say, you know what, I've got the pace here, I'm going to get some softs on and then put my hard tyres back on and at least wipe out some of that 10 seconds. And Zafir looks like he is in the pits. Actually, no, he's not. Zafir has lost the lead on the safety car.
I'm not sure that's happened. I'm not sure. Yeah, but very well.
It has got rid of it.
Yeah, it has got rid of the penalty, but Button now, I mean, like I say, it's very well that he's got rid of the penalty, but it will mean now that he won't have time now to come into the box again, because they will catch up the safety car field, the line of the safety car before this lap. So safety car will be in, and he probably won't want to box again now. He does get rid of the 10 second. The question is whether or not he can take mediums 23 laps. I think potentially, maybe, but it's going to be quite tough. Obviously, Destroyer now has the lead, but he does have that 10 seconds to his name. So, and he's also gone for mediums until the end, as well as the Wizard of Oz. I'm just thinking maybe they were going to go to hards, but as we go, there is the message: safety car is in this lap.
Unless they're gambling another safety car, but I think the message for them is pin it at the start, because Zafir might just be a blessing for them. And Jay Reese, the Tattoo Star, is in 6th, but is on 12 lap old hards. He hasn't pitted yet, as well as the Aston Martin. So where we go from here is qualifying laps for Destroyer and Wizard of Oz, more so Destroyer, to try and eradicate that 10-second penalty he got going into the pits. And if there isn't to be any more safety cars or need to make a pit stop, he might not get that rescinded, which is going to have a major effect on the result for the Haas, as his teammates down in 8th with the drive-through. He can serve that now as we're back underway at Zandvoort, lap 14. Destroyer, Wizard of Oz, who's been at the front throughout most of the event. Zafir in 3rd, but the driver we're following, Jay Undisputed, he's got to get a move on and get ahead of that Aston as quick as he can. That is a deep line though at the exit of the carousel, turn 4. And Jay, Reese's Pieces, Tattoo Stars in 6th, JSY, Brewmaster, Sheriff Woody, Sid Sandwich in the top 10. Button, keep an eye out for them, as they're first up for them in their charge through the pack is their old teammate and good friend David Lawface, followed by the Godfather in 13th, the Flow in 12th, and Speedy B in 11th place. And that is your field of 15 drivers. The one driver we've lost, Major Allen, losing it at the final corner, losing the front of the car and speeding into the barrier, not able to get the car under control, as Zafir already losing hand over fist to Destroyer and Wizard of Oz. There's a mismatch at the front. 2 seconds already between 2nd and 3rd, and Jay and Reese already paying the price. And Reese's Pieces has said, you know what, I'm not waiting behind you any longer, I'm getting a move on here, Jay, as Zafir peels into the pits. That is a very strange call there though for the Aston. Jay sees the McLaren on his outside and he gets the inside line towards turn 1. So Jay, without that slipstream, just about hands on, but now they're unleashed to make up a 3-second gap between themselves and the top 2, who have done what they've had to do at this restart and ran away.
Yeah, exactly. 3 seconds then to 2nd, and the Destroyer will be thinking now, well, I only got to gain another 7, and that 10 seconds isn't going to become a problem to anyone other than Wizard of Oz behind, but that's going to be very difficult, especially in the final stages of this race, if he does stick to the mediums for the rest of it. But the Wizard of Oz is looking very, very quick here, and he does now have DRS, and if he can get close enough here and keep close enough going towards the main straight, it could be an overtake for P1 when we enter lap 16 down to turn 1. As we got, well, I've got a helicopter cam, don't know about you, on Destroyer, But as we go round the bank corner then, this is very close for Wizard of Oz, a 10th in it, and he will take the lead here now before we even get to the line. And then he's back in the lead, Wizard of Oz. That strategy starting on the softs is now paid off and working for him at the moment, but it's whether or not he can hold on to those medium tires for the rest of this race. Reese's Pieces makes a move now on J Undisputed, and the gap now 3.9 seconds to Destroyer.
That gap was 3 at the start of the last lap as we get our HUD back up. Button making the move on Godfather now to 11th place. Next up for them is the Flow, who again is standing at the back of that Alpine. These four have been inseparable since the start. Sheriff Woody, Sid Silent, Speedy B and the Flow. They've been in their own little fight and a little private battle, as that is a car going wide. That is a Tattoo Star getting on the curb. Just about keeps it under control though. But that has escorted these four back up to where they were provisionally. 6th place for Sheriff Woody, 7th for Sid, 8th for Speedy B, and the Flow now 9th, the Tattoo Star. 15 lap old lads might be hoping and praying for another safety car later on.
Yeah, it's Destroyer now. It's going to be another change for the lead. He's got all the battery in the world as Destroyer, and he does take P1 back. It's a bit of a swap, as we like to say, or as I like to say anyway, for P1 as lap 17. So we're just over now, or just coming up to halfway through this race, and they're still gaining on P3 and P4. 4.5 seconds now with the gap between third and second. So Destroyer's going to be liking the look at this. He'll just want to be carrying on with this same kind of pace, same kind of form, and want to try and get that gap as high as it possibly can. Could he get it as high as 10 seconds? I'm not so sure, but at the moment, he's going in the right direction.
I suppose that is kind of, well, was a bit cat and mouse between Destroyer and Wizard of Oz, but my question is, if you're Wizard of Oz, do you really want to help Destroyer? Because he's got that 10 seconds, and as it is, that 10 seconds drops him down to 9th place. Despite how far behind the Flow is, as you can see in the minimap, he's just going into the stadium as Destroyer heads to the banking with Wizard of Oz, looking to go round 3 in this exchange for the lead. Both of them electing to slingshot each other further and further away from the top two and make this somewhat a little private battle between them until the end, or just build that gap so it's a bit too much to make up for Reese's Pieces, who's dropped back ahead of J Undisputed. JSY, who's had a very quiet race, I say that, he's in 5th place, as the Flow now makes the move, and Speedy B will jump down towards that if we can until I will ignore that for 2 seconds as a Tattoo Star is in the pits for a front wing change, and yeah, we can't even get basic animations right. We'll hope we have. Brewmaster in 13th, serving that drive-through. David and Godfather on own little tussle here for 11th place, and Button a second and a half now behind Speedy B, who has lost out to the Flow, but still Sheriff Woody and Sid Sandwich, they're having a fantastic fight throughout this event. I'm sure one they'll remember for a while. But we'll flip off, well, that's another thing out of context, we will flip away, I should say, from the fight for the top two. I apologise. And in this fight for third, the final spot on the podium, Reese's Pieces, J Undisputed and JSY, because I'm fairly sure in about 5 seconds time, count them, Destroyer takes back the place from Wizard of Oz, and 3, 2, 1, indeed he has. Destroyer back. You can see them just up at turn 1 as these three cross the start finish line. J Undisputed looking for the move on Reese's Pieces. Reese's Pieces knows he's there, gives him the space but gets a little bit snappy mid-corner, goes a bit too deep and gets a bit unhappy, does the McLaren. J Undisputed now back up to 3rd, JSY still hanging in there in 5th, and now that 10-second gap for Destroyer, that was going to be 9th place for him, now 6th. That's the gap he's made up within 1 lap of just a slingshot between himself and that Alpine.
Yeah, but that sort of that plan that these two have got to just slingshot each other each lap is definitely working, and I reckon they're both going to be in favour of it. Obviously Destroyer more, but Wizard of Oz will like a big fat gap behind him as well of 6.2 seconds, and yeah, this is looking even ever more that potentially the 10-second gap is actually going to become a thing. As I'm just looking back now at P7 and P8, we've got Sheriff Woody and the Flow going at it. In fact, we've got a big train of cars here from P6 all the way back to P10 at the back. Button on those As just say that Destroyed sets the fastest lap of the race there of 11.8, and almost gets out of DRS of Wizard of Oz. And on that occasion, there was no swap for position. The positions stayed the same as they were. But are we going to see changes here for position between 6th and 7th, as we see Sheriff Woody go around the outside here of Sid Sandwich, and can they hold it together? It's going to get very tight, and he loses 2 positions there to Sid. The flow also goes past, and Sheriff Woody up into P6. I was just about to say actually that Sid's having a really good race. Not really been mentioned too much, but up to 6th position. But this there loses 2 places, and now literally getting pushed around the circuit by Speedy B.
He is, and for Sheriff Woody and Sid Sandwich, that could have ended very much differently. They hooked wheels, but they just about got apart before we knew where that was going, and that was going to be into a certain Barry R. But Destroyers decided, thank you for the slingshots, I'm just going to run away now from Wizard of Oz. 1.2 seconds between him and the Alpine, and make that now 8.5 seconds between themselves and this tussling trio of Jay, Reese and JSY. Is around the banking we go once more. Jay down towards turn 1, knows the McLaren is there once again, and much like the top 2, exchanging places again, but this time it's not to make them go faster, it's for position. Reese's pieces now up to 3rd once more, and the flow getting himself ahead of Sheriff Woody, finally dispatching that little trio. Is in towards sector 1. There is a red, that is Button, and that is a very rare mistake for him to make, unless he's been tagged or he's just dropped it on his own. That is a front right end plate damage for the RB, whose evening goes from bad to worse to very bad and much worse.
Yeah, I thought, how long was he going to sit there then? Could it trigger another safety car? But it didn't, and he gets going again. But yeah, not ideal for Button. Wing damage down in P13. Yeah, not the best race, of course. There is now another yellow flag. That's the tattoo stars off.
I think he's just launched that over the curb. There's a little curb there at turn 3. He's took that too greedy and has went in the gravel, but he's got himself going again.
Yeah, that's it. And look at Destroy now. Destroy's going for it. We're going to have a look at what the gap is between him now and P3. 9.5 seconds. So he's basically got the 10 seconds now. And I'd still say at this stage, after 10 laps of mediums, that the mediums are probably still the better tyre. But not for much longer, I don't think. I think soon we're going to see the hard definitely becoming the faster tyre, as I go back to this battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th. And as we've said as well, Cruiser, JSY is just sitting in there. It's still potentially a podium for him. He just sort of hasn't really been getting involved as much as Button gets a 10-second penalty. And potentially we're going to see maybe a retirement here. I don't know. But he might just come in for a new wing. But yeah, just going back to Destroyer, he's really let the steam off, shall we say. Now 3 seconds in front of Wizard of Oz. He's really going for it now.
Yeah, I suppose that's the only way you can look at it, is pin the right foot down to that throttle and scamper away. He's now 3.2 seconds, and actually, looking at our intervals graphic, that is a very wide line, just showing how much he's pushing it around this track. That 10 seconds gap is going to be eradicated up to 3rd. So currently, as it is, Destroyer is still on the podium, only just though, because that gap of 10 seconds is teetering right now between himself and JSY, partly aided by the DRS. But I expect in another lap or two, that 10 seconds will only drop him down 1 place. And all Wizard of Oz has got to do is just keep pumping in these laps, just keep in range, because he's got about 6.5 seconds left to play with. But the longer this race goes on, keep an eye out for this trio back here on the hard tyres. But if they can stop fighting among themselves, they might just have a bit of a mutual pause and catch up that gap, because that gap now, 10.3 seconds. Destroyer is out of range of these guys.
Yeah, now it will just be obviously keeping within the white lines and not getting an additional 3 seconds on top of that. But when we look down the actual field in terms of penalties, there's only one driver that's actually got a 3-second penalty, and that's the Godfather, who currently sits in P10. He's just within the points. And he's not having too bad of a race at the moment. He has risen by 6 positions. As Reese's Pieces mentioning 3-second penalties, there's one for him. And that now means that, as it stands, Jay will go into the podium places, and JS will be to fourth. As I say that, Jay's going to make the move on track now for P3 and overtakes the McLaren.
And JSY wanted a bit of that, but Reese's Pieces says, nope, you're not. This isn't a buy one get one free. Jay Undisputed gets ahead of Reese's Pieces in aviation, just not quite quick enough to snatch up that freebie. But still, as it is, he's going to take fourth place of the yellow flag in sector 3. That is an Aston Martin of Zafir. He has lost it on the curb and has found himself playing in the grass and sand of the inside banking. As hopefully he gets himself in a move on Twitch. Struggling to find reverse gear there as the Aston. But he should be underway. He's got a bit of a buffer now between himself and Destroyer, who's actually about to lap the Aston. That is not comforting for Zafir. But Destroyer, we got 12 laps to go, and Zafir enters the pits, potential front wing damage or a change of tyres. Lap 25 at Zandvoort. Destroyer has a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pits. That could, in the end, get rescinded by the stewards if all goes well then for the Haas. Because my hunch is he did get tagged or shunted into the pit lane that put him over the speed limit. Because around this track, and very few tracks in this game, as full speed there for Jay Undisputed back up into third and ensuring third place on track, albeit the McLaren of Reese's Pieces is on that 3-second penalty. Jay says, nah, I want this one on track. You're not going to stop me. And Sheriff Woody gets himself ahead of the flow, who's had a mistake out of the carousel and drops back now behind the Ferrari. And Sheriff Woody, despite all their fighting, is hanging in there in 6th as well, looking to pick up the scraps if this trio does implode and erupt into nothing short of a fist fight, really. That's about as far as they're going to go. But like I was saying, the pit lane around here, like a few tracks in this game, 37 miles per hour or 60 kilometers an hour. Other tracks, it's 80 kilometers an hour. So that could be why the likes of Destroyer and Button for previously, but that
Destroy's in.
Destroy's in. A bit irrelevant. That is a surprise.
I'm surprised at that. I really am. He's going to drop so far back.
That 10 seconds, I don't know if he gets out ahead of Godfather, he might just clutch something from this race. But as it is, Wizard of Oz, he's got all the time in the world now to play with. He's now, actually tell I, is his tyres going to make it? That's something to consider. Is that why he dropped back as far as he did, up to around 5 seconds? But Destroyer is exiting the pits in 12th place.
No, I have to say, do not agree with that one bit at all. There is not, I mean, if he somehow goes so quick on these softs now for the last 10 and gets himself back up into where he would have been P2, then fair play to him. I just can't see that happening personally. I really can't, and I would have definitely tried to go to the end. He had the 10-second buffer anyway on P3. So yeah, don't really get it, to be honest, but we will soon obviously see what happens, as he already makes the move on his teammate, and now he will make the move on David Lowface as well. So he's already made it, and we've got a yellow flag
Jay's
out.
Gone. JSY's lost it at the banking, and that's a virtual safety car. Yep, he's lost it in the curb. I think he got in the curb and just launched it into the Armco. As you can see from this camera angle from Destroyer, you get in that curb is a bit of barrier that sticks out, and that is ripped off the wheel of that Red Bull, who was looking so good for a podium. He's not going to store anything.
Yeah, that was really unlucky for JSY. He was having such a good race up to P4. Obviously, would have had a net P3, but now he's going to have P15 and no points with that DNF. The Flow uses this as an opportunity to pit and get on some fresh soft tyres, but Destroy now 8th position. Now he needs to gain, was it 16, 17 seconds to get back up into where he would have been, which was been 2nd place. Can he gain that much in 9 laps? It's basically 2 seconds a lap virtually. I'm not sure if he can gain 2 seconds every lap for 9 laps of this race. Yeah, Wizard of Oz, if he can hold the tyres together, I think this is definitely his race now for sure.
You know something, I don't think he will. I think he's going to take this as an incentive. He is.
Oh, yeah, he's going to come in. He is.
So if this virtual safety car stays activated, never mind.
Oh, it hasn't.
It doesn't. So that's made up around 4 seconds, I'd say, but that's another set of medium tyres. Gonna leave the pits.
Oh,
Is he gonna get out ahead of Sid Sandwich? And I think that answer is gonna be no. Sid's going around turn 1. There's the Alpine. He's gonna emerge in traffic. Down in 6th, and again this race takes another turn. Reese's Pieces now in the lead, but Jay undisputed. This is now his race to lose.
yeah, this is Jay's race to lose. The question is, can Wizard of Oz gain now, what is it, 12.5 seconds in 8 laps? Once again, I don't think he can. I really don't think he can. And it must mean that the tyres weren't going to make it towards the end of the race. As I say, there's contact there between him and Sid Sandwich, and he got very close to him there. There's a flag Sophia is out, and it's a safety car again.
Oh! Hello. Who had that in the bingo sheet?
Well. I think was it going to be everyone in for hards, but no, for softs potentially. I think now Wizard of Oz obviously has fresh mediums. Here comes the top 2 then. Reese's Pieces in, Jay in, Sheriff Woody in, Speedy B.
He thought about it.
In
Wizard of Oz,
as well.
he's going to stay out, so he's going to take back the lead. Sid's in, Godfather's in, but Destroyer stays out, and this might just play back into his hands. If he gets out ahead of that McLaren, and he's going to.
He has.
That
is really played into
game
Destroyer,
on
isn't
again
it?
at the front, where 5 laps ago, even at that 3 laps ago, Destroyer was in 12th place. He's now back up to 2nd with the aid of a safety car.
Yeah, obviously everyone pitting for softs. Their softs are obviously going to be newer. So let's just have a look at what tyres people are on then. As we go to tyres, right, so everyone on fresh softs. The Flow's on 2-lap-old softs. He came in a couple of laps ago. Wizard was on medium, so now you would think that he's going to be a bit of a sitting duck. Destroy's on 3-lap-old softs. And obviously they've been going hard for 3 laps as well. 3 racing laps. The guys obviously now behind, obviously on fresh softs. They're not going to be going at full speed for a few laps either. I mean, Jay, I'd say probably is the favourite here now. But we know how good Destroyer is, what pace he has. Only 3 laps on the soft tyre. Would it make that much of a difference to the Haas? I don't really know. I mean, the one person it saved, or a couple, was the Tattooed Star and Button. They can now gain onto the back of the pack because they were almost of a fear of getting lapped.
Yeah, Radical pointing out as well in the chat that this safety car does save Button a little bit. He's going to catch up to the pack, but he's still down in 13th. It's, say around lap 30, maybe lap 31, the safety car comes in, so we'll have 6 laps to go at racing speed. But can Destroyer softs hold on? Can Wizard of Oz hold on in fresh mediums? Reese's Pieces right now is going to be a buffer, even though he's still with a chance at this if he can get rid of that 3-second penalty from the stewards. But he's going to be somewhat of a buffer here to G Undisputed, Sheriff Woody and the Flow. Speedy B, by the way. As I've said, he's had a quiet race, but he's still in 7th, Sid Sandwich in 8th. Godfather's in the points in 9th. And Brewmaster's clawed himself back to 10th in an evening he will want to forget quite quickly. As Button's heading up towards turn 1, safety car might just be in at the end of this lap, as JSY says that after that collision tonight, they are racing in Singapore, and that is them. And tell you honestly, I don't blame you, JSY. I do not blame you one bit, and super lucky tonight as well. Tommy saying, how's Reese in 3rd? Good driving, I'd say. Good driving and a titanic fight with Jay and JSY as mentioned. So, but granted, he is on a 3-second penalty because of McLaren, so that might actually drop him back a few places unless tussles unfold. And the safety car is in. So we'll have 6 laps left at Zandvoort. Who is going to win? Wizard of Oz looking for their first win of the campaign. Destroyer looking for his 4th. G Undisputed looking for his first of the campaign, and his first since Kota last campaign. We've got a lot of drivers to go, and I should say Reese's Pieces is in with a shout, but that 3 seconds is hovering like a dark cloud over that McLaren. Wizard of Oz will leave this right to the end if he can get away with it, as around the bank and expect that foot to be hard down, hammered down, and foot to the floor, and it is go, go, go for the Alpine in towards turn 1. Destroyer's thinking about it, thought about it, considered it, not going for it in towards turn 1. Wizard of Oz survives that exchange, and now it's run away, run away, run away for them. Destroyer in second, holding on. Reese's Pieces is looming large behind that Haas, is around the carousel. We know Reese's Pieces diving to the inside, looking for this better traction and exit. Not going to help him, but that lost momentum is going to cost him. But that momentum for Wizard of Oz is going to lose him out here to Destroyer. Not quite, as around turn 6 we go diving to the right hand side. Wizard of Oz just about, and no more, holds on to this lead, but this is going to be the longest 5.5 laps of his racing career.
Yeah, a very, very exciting start to this, as Reese's Pieces getting right up behind Destroyer now. And Jay looks like he's battling a bit too much with Sheriff Woody here. He doesn't want to be doing that. He's losing out on this front 3. And as Wizard of Oz sort of slows the pack up, shall we say, on those obviously medium tyres, everyone else's softs, is it allowing Jay to get a bit closer? I mean, it's back down to 9 temps, but who's going to use the battery here? Reese's Pieces has got most of the battery, but here comes Destroyer. Can he take the lead? We're on to lap 32 of 36. Down the inside he goes. Last of the late breakers, and on this occasion, it's very tight. Wizard of Oz keeps the position, going into out to turn 3, and it's contact!
That was naughty. And Reese's Pieces goes through. Oh my goodness me, bide your time and bide your time and just say thank you very much, I'm just straight through. But Wizard of Oz knew he was there, Destroyer was still on the inside. That might be one for the stewards at the end of this race.
Yeah, I think potentially so, but...
Oh, Flo's gone! He's not on the curb.
Yeah, Flo's gone as well. He comes back on just in front of David Lowface, drops down to P10. And yeah, not ideal for him. He thought maybe he was going to come back a little bit, but now we got the DRS now. Are we going to see Wizard of Oz take this lead back? He doesn't have to at the moment, because obviously Reese's Pieces has a 3-second penalty, but Reese's Pieces obviously has the fresher tyres. He'll be trying to gain a gap, and that gap now is 8 temps, so I don't think Wizard of Oz is going to gain enough time here to retake the lead, as there's a yellow flag out, and that's Brewmaster.
Brewmaster's lost it around the banking as well, as Ido's Destroyer looking around the outside this time of Wizard of Oz, who once again is driving the widest Alpine you are going to see in this video game. Reese's Pieces is now just going to run away and beg these two keep fighting to amass that 3-second gap. As Speedy B now looking down the inside of Sheriff Woody. He's had a quiet race. Sheriff Woody is aware of it, and that might just be the lucky break that Jay needs to try and close up, as Brewmaster has put pay to an evening of well, so I don't he wants to remember this evening for any reason, as Speedy B's gone a bit wide, but he just about gets away with it, and that's now the gap that Sheriff Woody was want to help him out, as Jay Undisputed has actually lost out the DRS, as has Wizard of Oz. So now Destroyer is very much in prime position to take back that lead. Sheriff Woody looking for it in towards turn 12. It's a rare overtaking place. It's possible, but there's a reason why it's rare, because it is so difficult to get yourself at the apex. And Sheriff Woody elects to sit back in 5th, but now entering the closing stages, and the final blows are going to be delivered here, and this might just be the knockout punch here for Destroyer. Reese's Pieces is trying to scamper away, but Destroyer down the inside, and this time at the 3rd attempt on this restart makes it stick. Destroyer back in prime position for his 4th victory of the season, and the Alpine, who's been in the top 2 for so long, has to concede. But Destroyer looking to make this Haas's 6th win in this campaign.
Yeah, he now just needs to try and stick with Reese's Pieces, which he should do. And somehow he looks like he's just going even quicker than the McLaren. He's got the older tyres now. 8 laps old those soft tyres are, to Reese's Pieces 5. But he just seems to be being the quicker car. And Wizard of Oz will try and hold on as much as he can to the DRS. Potentially could have a go. as we go down into turn 1 on lap 35. It will be in a few corners time, but 7 temps, 6 temps. He's just sticking in there, but I feel like he needs to be a little bit closer right now. Our full battery then for Destroyer. Reese's Pieces in front. Is this going to be an overtake from the lead? It doesn't have to be. Obviously, they're freezing apparently. But here comes Destroyer, and he's not going to attempt it. He doesn't need to attempt it, but he does take the fastest lap. And the Wizard of Oz on this lap now will try and get as close as he possibly can to maybe try and make some form of attack on Destroyer in the final stages. I think from 4th position downwards, they ain't going to get anywhere near. The podium places now. So it's literally down to this top 3. Who is going to take the win? Is it going to be Destroyer? Is it going to be Wizard of Oz? Wizard of Oz, look how close he is again now to Destroyer. This is not over yet. We've got a lap to go here, and Wizard of Oz is not out of this win just yet.
This is going to come down to a drag race to the line. But what I will say, though, Undisputed, there's a reason why he's struggling. He has lost his front right end plate, and that is why he's now down in 7th place. Speedy B now up in 4th. It could be a double podium for the Haas. I say double podium for the Haas, double podium for the Alpine, as Godfather has made a double overtake there on Jay and the Flow. That'll be one to be shared later on. But now we have had 35 laps of thrilling action at Zandvoort. It's now down to the final one to determine this winner, and Destroyer has decided to go now and get the move on Reese's Pieces. Destroyer now has that barrier between himself and Wizard of Oz. He continues to go from strength to strength, and this race he had a 10-second penalty slapped over his head. He says, okay, challenge accepted, and this might just be another winner's trophy he'll accept at the end of 36 laps of the Zandvoort circuit.
Yeah, and it's looking like it now. He's getting the gap now. He's got more battery to use. He's still got 38%, which he can use for the rest of the lap. It's looking strong for Destroyer, and it looks like he's going to be taking that 4th victory of the season. I'm now looking towards, is Reese's Pieces going to hold on to 3rd place? Is Speedy B potentially going to steal it off him? 2.8 seconds is the gap for him and Wizard of Oz. So it's very, very tight. Could potentially steal it off him at the final stages.
Have a look, that gap is 3.1, so that's something to look at. If Speedy B could get a bit of DRS, it would be now. But Destroyer, we've said his name once before at China. We said his name twice before. We said his name 3 times before around Vegas. And we say his name for a 4th time. The quadruple of Season 9. Destroyer wins at Zandvoort. And that might just be the pivotal victory in this title campaign, as Wizard of Oz will take 2nd place, the top 2 for the whole event. Reese's Pieces, despite that 3-second penalty, hold on to 3rd. And if I'm correct in looking at that at the end, that is Speedy B, who at one stage was running no higher than 6th, takes 4th place for the Alpine team, and that is a good haul of points for them in the constructor standings. But Destroyer, 1, 2, 3, 4. How many more does he want to claim?
Well, I mean, obviously his teammate scored no points tonight, so that means Destroyer now takes back the lead of the championship, and I think he takes it now. 26 points he gains, obviously got the fastest lap. He'll probably take the lead of that now, I think by 23 points, I believe. So 3 races to go. He's got a good buffer there. Obviously, there's still a lot that Roommaster can do in those last 3 races, but it's definitely another result that he would have definitely enjoyed, Destroyer. And from where he started as well, 8th the grid, a very strong showing. Yeah, as we said, P2 Wizard of Oz, P3 Reese's Pieces, and P4 Speedy B up from 12th on the grid. Sheriff Woody as well, let's have a little shout out to him, up from 10th to P5. And I know he finished 12th in the end because of the 10-second penalty, but I have to say the Godfather, I was watching him throughout the race, and he did get up one stage, get up to P7. He started P16, so obviously the time penalty affected his finishing position in the end, but he can be pleased with the way he raced tonight. I believe we will get a couple of our drivers at least into the party just for a couple of words.
And I think for the second time this season, we've got all 3 platforms in among the podium. So Destroyer, of course, on PC, Wizard of Oz on PlayStation, and Reese's Pieces on Xbox. But Speedy B, what a drive from him to take 4th and just miss out on a podium as well. But this Haas team, Nobody could have guessed how formidable they have been. This has been one-way traffic for them. And I suppose the number one at the start of the race, I didn't even see the checkered flag. That now number one is now 4 times a victor in FPRL. Destroyer, 20 plus points with 3 rounds to go. So I think that might just be the right hook to Brewmaster, saying you've got it all to do now as we head off to Suzuka next week, as we'll head to the showroom and get the McLaren up on stream eventually. At the second click of a button, we'll get the McLaren up on stream. And while I go to have a quick word with our P2 driver, Monkey Boy Kurt, over to you, and our P3 driver, a fantastic effort nonetheless, for Reese's Pieces.
Yeah, no, thank you, Cruiser. And yeah, we'll get straight into it then. P3, Reese's Pieces. Good to see you back on the podium, mate. Obviously, just make sure your audio's included, just so everyone on the stream can hear you. But yeah, obviously, if you've done that, all good, then we will get to it. So we'll start off with qualifying. Qualifying for yourself, just qualified just behind your teammate, I think it was actually 2 thousandths behind. With a 1099. Was there any improvement you feel like you could have done on that to potentially get even further up the grid?
To be honest, I'm surprised I even got as far as I was. I was talking to my teammate before we went into qualifying, and I was saying how much I actually don't like this track. It's not one of my favourites. Just because one, track limits, which you obviously saw, I got a penalty for, and the other one being I hate gravel. I think gravel's probably my worst enemy, and that curb that I kept clipping, I clipped it on my qualifying run as well, but managed to keep it. So I could have improved, but I was happy where I actually was come the end of qualifying for the starting grid.
Yeah, well, obviously it was so close anyway. I mean, obviously from yourself, from P1 down to yourself, and P6 was just over 2 temps, so literally so close within the field. We'll go towards the start of the race, and you kept within the sort of the pack. We saw a pack from second down to seventh that were all battling. Wizard of Oz early on got a bit of a lead on the soft tyres, but you were in amongst that pack. Any good battles during the time that obviously the first half of the race?
I've got to say, between me, I think it was Jay and Aviation. I think we had a really good battle between the three of us. We kept swapping positions, and down the main straight, I was so much faster than Jay, so I kept overtaking him. But through the corners, he was able to keep DRS on me, and I kept using my battery to try and keep ahead of him. So we just kept switching positions, and to be fair, we just kind of let the top two disappear with it, which was a bit disappointing. But as much I tried so hard and pushed myself so much to the limit that I kind of ruined my own race with getting my 3-second time penalty. But I got a great start, to be fair. Starting from 6th, just behind my teammate. I think the flow had a really bad start, and I was able to get past him. Tried to sneak it down the outside of Brewmaster coming into turn 1, but I don't think I could keep it. And then there was a few hits up ahead, so I managed to gain a few positions. So I was lucky in that sense. Just obviously unlucky in terms of that penalty.
Yeah, and I guess also in terms of, in a way, in terms of hindsight, maybe a bit unlucky for that last safety car coming out. Obviously, we saw the VSC come out, and that's when we saw the Wizard of Oz come into box, and it left you and Jay out in first and second. But then obviously that in full safety car meant everyone came in for softs, and those positions that you had in the around about the 3-second gap that you had to guys behind you, kind of lost. But you did fight well at the end, and obviously would have had P2 on track if you hadn't had the penalty. So, but you have to be happy, obviously, with P3. A good haul of points for yourself, and obviously McLaren. Next week we head off to Suzuka. Obviously, a very famous circuit in real F1. Obviously, been known for deciding many championships throughout the years. How do you think you'll fare around there?
It's not been my favorite track. Never has. Just because of the way that on the game the car can step out so much at that circuit, and curbs are deadly. If you touch the curbs, it throws the car completely. So it's not been my best track over the previous games, but when I've been doing some time trial laps on it the past few days, I've been getting a lot more confident with it. So hopefully I can get back on the podium again next week and win it, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, well, I hope for yourself. Obviously, that is the case next week, and yeah, hopefully have another good one this time next week, obviously around there. But yeah, congratulations once again on P3. Cruiser, if you've got anything to add, then obviously please do. But I'll hand back to you for our interview, our winner.
Thank you, Monkey, and not really more to add, but good effort nonetheless. Reese's Pieces will get to the Alpine team. Got a quick word in from Wizard of Oz through our Discord server. I suppose might as well say it. Through our Discord server, you can join FPRL. You do this by hitting the link in our Twitch streams, twitch.tv/FP Racing Lead if you're watching this on YouTube. There will be a link in our Twitch chat. Click the link, that Nightbot will drop, or use command F1 in the Twitch chat, as I've had a look at the Tattoo Stars response from the race, and I'm not going to repeat it, let's just say it's very bad. Yeah, our Discord server, click the link in that, complete the sign up steps will get you in ahead of Season 10 maybe, question mark. Hopefully it's in a different game really, because I'm bored of this. I only play this just to race and I uninstall it. But we'll see what happens for that. And our other social media you can keep engaged on, our X, formerly Twitter, FairPlayRL. So there's our Twitter account. I'll still refer to it as Twitter, even though it's different. And of course our YouTube, Fair Play Racing Lead. All of our channel icons and profile pictures are the same. You can't miss us. All of our races are ported. Well, say all of our races, some of them. But definitely this season, and especially last season's campaign, if you want to reflect on Season 8, personally my favourite season of FPRL to commentate on, but Season 9 giving it a good run for its money. All of our races are ported on there. Give the YouTube channels a quick subscribe. On the road to 100 subscribers on there, and from there, only way is up. So our P2 driver today, Wizard of Oz, says through our Discord server, and I quote, "Gutted to not be able to take the win tonight, a very eventful race nevertheless. I hope I can get that first win sometime soon, and kudos to Destroyer, I've got no answer to his pace at the moment." Indeed, at the moment, because as we head to the Haas camp for the 4th time this season, Destroyer, congratulations.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. Thank you so much. I needed this win.
Yeah, in terms of the championship, this is a priceless victory for you, especially after Brewmaster's unfortunate end. But just talk us through the race. Obviously, the qualifying didn't go to plan, so I think the target was easy for the race, and that is just to go up the field. But to go up to 4th place within 5 laps, that's some damn good driving to make that happen.
Yeah, I had a very good start actually. So I already covered up like 3 positions by the end of the first corner, and I think Room had a terrible start, so I was in 4th, and I was in 6th, and then I think there was a very small incident between Room and someone else. I don't remember who. So that gave me 2 more positions over there. So yeah, basically picking up the pieces from what happened ahead, and also good combined with a good start, and then it was all about just making some clean overtakes. But yeah, the qualifying did not go as planned, because I just rushed here just barely to make the race, because there was not much traffic, but on Mondays I do overtime, so sometimes it can be late, sometimes it can be early. Yeah, so I hope I don't get any real time speeding tickets, because I actually rushed. So
just show me your resume. Just show me your lead racing resume and say, "Do you know who I am?" That's usually how it works. But
I wish I could. Yeah.
but obviously we don't condone that in FPRL. Stick to speed limits. Speeding kills. But
Yeah,
suppose
definitely.
foot to the floor tonight. That speeding you done tonight. It was for the greater good. But that final safety car somewhat saved your skin. But a few laps before that, Did you mean to get rid of that 10 seconds, or were the tyres just that horrible that you couldn't take them any longer?
No. I actually changed my plan as soon as I got my 10-second penalty because I was planning to go on the hards just like everybody else. Because I started on the medium tires. But then when I got to know that I got the 10-second penalty, I did not want to rely on the safety car. But yes, I was hoping for a safety car so I could pit in the safety car later on. Because even if I got rid of the 10-second in the safety car, it is so difficult to overtake in Netherlands because you need to be at least 2.5 to 3 seconds faster than the guy ahead to overtake there. I think except for the main straight and maybe the other DRS, I think there's no position. So I was like, I have the pace. There's some clear air at the front, so let me just go as much as possible. So I actually changed back to the medium tires. So I had to pit. There was no other option for me because I was medium, and then I had to go for a soft in the end. So I realized that 24 laps on the hards were a lot to do. And hards are not the best tire on this particular track. So it would have been very close in the end if the safety car hadn't come. Because did Wizard pit as well? Because I don't know what happened to him. If Wizard hadn't pit, then I would have maybe just be happy with the second. But if he had pit, then I probably had the pace to go for the win as well. Because they were already 1 second slower when I was on my mediums. So with 10 or 12 lap old hearts, I think with fresh softs, it's much quicker here. I don't know.
That
Yeah.
actually completely went over our heads in the commentary box. We actually didn't know you went double medium, so thank you for clarifying
Yeah.
that. But
That's the reason I was pushing so much. I even hit the wall on the exit of the last corner. I was so scared that I got a wing damage, but luckily I didn't get a wing damage.
I think we've seen that just how much you were pushing, and Wizard
Oh,
of Oz helping out a little bit with the slingshots just to build that buffer behind and at least limit some of the damage. But that safety car definitely saved you. But
yeah.
on to next week around Suzuka. Much like tonight, it's a very similar track in terms of how twisty it is and difficult to overtake it is. So another track qualifying has to go your way. But is it one of your preferred tracks in this game?
Um, Not on this game. I have struggled quite a bit on this game, so I don't know. I'm not really so confident as I was with Netherlands because Netherlands I've had like very good results before in the past. It's a tricky track. I have never had good results here, so hopefully if I can get some practice in like I did for Netherlands, I think I may be able to be up there. But yeah, gutted for Room Master. I mean, uh, if we had a good race, I think it would have been very tight at the top.
Suppose that's just how it goes sometimes in FPRL. If your luck's not in it, then it shows. But if your luck is in it, you end up a
Yeah.
four-time winner in Tier 3. So Destroyer, congratulations, and potentially be seeing you very soon in Tier 2 as a champion, because that is now the championship lead restored to the other side of the Haas garage, and that is going to conclude a Tier 3 event at the Circuit Zandvoort. We thank everyone for tuning in and for watching. We will be back this Wednesday, which will be the 27th of I think I said October there, but not quite in Halloween season. The 27th of November for our Tier 2 race, 8 p.m. UK time, and our Tier 1 event to round out our week in the Netherlands on Friday, 8 p.m. UK time. Be sure to tune in for them. Like Tier 3, we promise thrilling action amongst the field, and our Tier 2 championship. There could be a surprise contender emerging, but from one Haas to another, Collateral leads the way in there, and in our Tier 1 standings, it's still open. Everyone is capable of winning that championship in there. But of course, as is tradition, before we do leave, Monkey Boy Kurt, before we sign out, who is your driver of the day for our Tier 3 event?
It has to. I think I get sometimes a bit bored of picking the winners, to be honest. But But will come normally from some. They gain a lot of positions in the race, or they just do something that really stands out. And there were a few drivers today that could also give it to. Obviously, Speedy right up to fourth position. We also had others like Sheriff Woody come up from 10th to 5th, but I think starting from 8th and taking the win the way he did, and having a 10-second penalty as well, and the luck going for him was obviously with the safety cars. He's played it to exactly how he would have wanted and got the other win, so he has to go to the straw again tonight.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thank you.
No worries.
Of course, I will also give a quick shout out to Speedy B, a quiet race, but still in fourth, and Sheriff Woody too, and Sid Sandwich actually, for their near enough full race tussle for what would in the end be fifth place for the Ferrari driver of Sheriff Woody. But those going to be it from us in the Tier 3 commentary booth, Monkey Boy Chart. It's that time again, we've got to sign off for another week.
We have indeed, but no, thanks everyone for tuning in, and hopefully we'll have another great race next week.
That we do hope so. We are very much on the journey, which has been 2024 and F1 24 before the turn of the year. 2025, a new horizon begins, and FPRL Season 10 is on the way. And that has been Monkey Boy Chart.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And this has been Cruiser 1872. You all know the drill. Thank you very much for watching, spending your Mondays with us, and from all of us here at FPRL, good night.